camera. So welcome. Today I am going to be drawing this gorgeous little deer, and I'm using my new watercolours. I've got some Ruben's watercolours, which has got all these colours on, so I'm a bit excited to have a go. And I thought what I want to do, and I thought I want to paint this little deer, because I love deer fawns. Love baby deer. I did like a cartoony one the other day, not a realistic one, but today I wanted to do a realistic one. So I'm going to start by drawing his body, or his head first. Get everything sort of roughly where I want it. But I'll start with the head because I measure everything against the head. He's sort of got a little bit longer nose than I've given him. His chin goes up on a little bit of an angle. His head's a bit taller than I've got it. Like that. Then his neck is 1 times the length of his head. And it comes straight down like that. His shoulders behind his chin just there. Now his body is 1 and a bit times his head. So his body is 1 and a bit. It's about there. He's facing his back to us. His bottom's high. And I'm working on a slightly larger scale than I normally do today. Just be careful with it, that's all. Because I will be painting over the top, so you're not going to notice it. There we go. Like that. He's got quite big eyes, so his eyes come down there like that, and then it's his nose. His nose is on more of an angle, like that. Just got to get rid of this eraser line because it's on slightly rough paper. I've got medium grain paper today, not the smooth stuff I normally use. I thought I would give this paint a chance on quite textured paper. And his nose comes down like that. He's got his muzzle like that. I've got to do his ears now. His ears are the same length as his head. So his head's that long, so his ears are that long. Yep, about there. That's it, about there. His ears are about there, so I'll draw the tip of that one. Like that. Got beautiful ears, these little guys. Absolutely gorgeous little critters. He's watching something. He's got his little ear pricked. So it's the same length as that. Goes to the dot, so that's fine. Now, he's got his shoulder comes like down behind his chin. Oh, I need to do it further back there. His shoulder comes back there. His little chest is there. Now his legs are the same length as his head and his neck. So his legs are that long to his ankles. You can't see his feet because his feet are buried in grass. He's got a beautiful foresty background, so I'm going to do the background as well once I've done the base drawing. I have no idea how these watercolours work, how they feel, because I've never tried them. I only got them yesterday. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to just have a go. See how they work. They're beautiful and vibrant. So give them a go. Now his butt is facing us. His hock is above his knee on this back leg, like that. Got to make his butt a bit wider, like that. His back leg comes there. Might even move that back leg in a fraction. Just make it a little bit narrower through there. Just a little bit. Got to get rid of these little excess bits. There we go, that's a bit narrower. Like that. Now his back leg goes down on an angle like that to his hock. Then like that. And down to his hock, or his fetlock, sorry, down at his ankle a bit. So I've marked that where his ankle is. Like that. As you can see, his tummy sort of comes down and around. He's got quite a low little little pot belly on it. Just gorgeous. Deer are one of my favourite animals to draw. When I was a little kid, I always loved deer. I love many things, but I really enjoy deer and baby deer. Okay. So continue on down here. So continue on with his little legs. Now he's standing in grass. He's got gorgeous little eyes. So I can start to draw a little bit of detailing now. Make his eyes a little bit rounder. Like that. Got beautiful little eyelashes. Not that they're sort of going to see him from what I'm doing. Okay, come down and around here. He's got his bottom eyelid. Having a quick look. Okay. He's got his fur in his ear. Comes up and around. Down and around. This ear. He's going to have a green background. Now his muzzle. He's got brown around his muzzle there like that. Little nostrils come down like that. He's got his little chin comes down like that, and around his mouth is grey. He's just the cutest little guy. He's got white around his eyes. So I'm just going to mark around the areas that I need to leave highlighted. Got a little bit of white coming down onto his chin, and his belly's white. Like that. Oh, I've got his tail. Silly me. His tail is rough. It comes down here. Like that. Just going to erase a little bit. Like that. And I'll draw the grass in. You can see a little bit of grass down there. This is much larger than I usually work about my hand size, so this is a much larger piece. I thought I've got to get brave. So there we go. I'll just erase some of that. I'll leave a little highlight on his eye like that, which I will leave the white of the paper. And I'm just going to do, now I'm going to start with the wash. I'm going to grab a big brush and have a sip of my coffee before it goes cold. Pop it over there. Oops. Okay. I'm going to spritz now. I'm going to get my watercolour tray. I didn't even have that ready, silly Billy. Alright, grab my watercolour tray. My new Ruben's watercolour tray. A bit exciting. Open that up. I've never used this. I literally got it yesterday, so I haven't tried it, so it should be fun. Just got to spritz it. Make sure it's all nice and damp. Like that. Make sure it's very spritzed. Then I'm going to put my watercolour palette up alongside my picture like that. And we're going to start with a background wash. So I'm going to get my big brush, get my bit of cloth, get my big brush, and I am going to do the background green. And I'm going to go in with quite a strong green. I don't have a colour, it looks like a sap green to me. I don't actually have a colour name for it because these paints are in Chinese. So I'm just going to wet the whole background right around the deer. Make sure it's very wet. So I'm using this as a size 14 round in my silver black velvet brushes. Alright, it's going to really keep wetting. You can see there's a little bit of a green tint to the watercolour. But that's because I had green on my brush, which was silly when I cleaned my brush. But that's okay, I've got to pick up that bead around the edge of him. Continue on down and around. I can go over the green at the bottom, that's fine. Let's make sure the paper's nice and wet. Nice and wet all over, not just a little bit. It's going to dry that little bit on his head off. Now I'm going to go in and drop my green in. Let's see what this watercolour does, hey? Let's have a look. Got to be a bit careful because I have no idea how this is going to run. Oh, it's looking pretty. It's looking pretty. But quickly, I'm going to get a clean brush and just pick up. Oops, that's not going to work. I'm going to clean one of these brushes and pick that up. That bead that's on his head. Try and rub that off because this is obviously a staining colour. No, it's not too bad. So I don't want it to run any further than that. And continue on getting this green into the background. Alright, continuing down, 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 down. Okay, this is pretty. It's nice and sheer, that's good to know. Good to know it's a nice sheer watercolour. This side's dried quite fast because I did it first, I think. Just got to get a bit more paint on my paper down here. Make a bit more onto my palette as well. I've just got to pick this bit up here. I've got to get rid of that bit on his head. There we go. Take it right down to the bottom. All the way. Coming close to his legs, all the way to the bottom. Keep moving while it's wet. Take it all the way to the bottom of the painting. I've got this taped down so it shouldn't buckle too much, and this is quite a sturdy paper. Okay, now I'm going to go in and grab this bead with the tip of my brush, take the moisture off my brush with my bit of cloth, and then just pick up the bead. While that's still damp, I'm going to drop in some darker green. While it's still wet, I'm going to drop in some of this darker green. Ooh, which one was it? That one. Nope, not that one, but doesn't matter. Okay, I'm just going to drop a little bit in here and there, just around, just to keep a little bit of variation in the greens. Because the background's mottled, and just let that do what watercolour does best. Right, come around here. Oh, this is pretty. This is doing pretty things on the paper. I'm not going to do a whole lot. Just want to let it all flow around. A bit more. Make it darker around his chest and just around close to him, because you want your darkest darks next to your lightest lights, and let it flow out like that. I'm going to do that on his back as well. Whoops. And up around his ear. Around his bottom. Like that. Do his back legs. Just keep it nice and interesting and flowy like that. I'm not going to do a whole lot more. I'm just going to go around the top of his head. Like that. Bit of it in up here at the top. And then I think I'm going to leave that background. I'm going to let that dry. I'm going to get my bit of clean cloth and just pick up that little bit that I got excess on his head. The rest of it is not a problem. I just want to get that bit off. Well, I love how that acted on the paper for a start. That's very nice. Very nice indeed. Okay, I'll let that dry a little bit. Whoops, Daisy dropped me a bit of cloth. Let that dry a little bit. Get my damp brush and just lift that little bit of bead there. Actually, I might even try and grab that with my cloth. Just going to touch around the edges of my baby deer here. Just try and lift a little bit of that off. I had a hairdryer and I threw it out for my art supplies for art. But yeah, silly me, threw it out. Okay, so I can start on his little eye. So I'm going to clean this brush. Then I'm going to get another. I'm actually going to get another tub of water because 2 buckets is not enough. I need a 3rd bucket. It's always handy to have a few extra pots around to keep your water in. Okay, so I can work on his eye a little bit. So I'm going to chuck that cloth away, get a bit of fresh cloth. And I'm going to get my smaller brush, which is a size 4 silver black velvet. I'm going to wet it. And I'm going to go into his eye with, I reckon, where's my colour chart? There. With a bit of, like, looks like a yellow ochre. I'd say that's a yellow ochre. Ooh, geez, this stuff is juicy. This colour is juicy. All right, so without putting my hand in the wet paint, I'm just going to mark in his eye, or his iris and everything. Just with this golden colour to start with. Just being careful not to rest my hand in the background because she's still wet. All right. Leave that like that. I can't really do anything else at the second. Oh, you know what I didn't do? I didn't draw any dots, but I don't need to. I can leave those. Because, actually, I can draw them in. Because he is covered in lots of little... So I will forget, because that's how I roll. I'm just going to draw them in. Because he does have lots of little white markings. Beautiful. Camouflage them in the grass and the flowers and stuff. Just draw just little circles. Come in this direction. And they go on a downward sort of lilt. Go up onto his shoulders like that. They're all different sizes, but that's okay. I've already marked out the light on his body, and I've got to mark out the light on his tail, like that. Gee, this paint runs really well. Gee willikers, because that I dogged up before, and it's already seeped back down onto his little head. Wow. Okay, I'm going to see if I can clean that off by grabbing my brush. I'm just going to scrub that a fraction with my brush and see if I can lift it. I know with my Sinelli's I can. Yeah, I can lift that off. That's all right. It's not completely off, but it'll do. Okay. Now I'm going to go back into his eye with a bit of a darker brown. I reckon I'm going to try a bit of the brown next to that brown. Yeah, that looks nice. It's like a sienna, like a burnt sienna almost. Get a bit more pigment, a little bit less water. I'll take that around the outside edge. You can see I've touched the paper there. It was annoying, but that's okay. Okay, I might leave that for a second. The paper's still very damp. I'm just going to drop that in. Or I can go into the skin tones in his ears. So a good skin tone is a bit of red and a bit of green. So I'm going to go a bit of this red. And I'll take a bit of this green from up here. A bit more red. To make a skin tone. Then add some water. And I'm going to dilute that down a bit more. Just take that down the inner side of his ear. Being careful to stay away from the edges and leaving the little fur bits, because I'm leaving the white of the paper as the white of my little deer. I'm going to have to reclaim some of the white because it's gone onto the edge of the deer's ear. So I'm going to have to use a little bit of white gouache or white acrylic. Just a touch. Okay. And you can see I've got it on his nose as well, but that's okay. Let's have a look. I'm going to go a little bit darker with that as well. So I'm going to go a little bit more red. And I'm just going to take this shadow colour into the top half of his ear already. Like that. I'm already loving these colours, got to say. Already enjoying them quite a lot. They're nice and sheer and easy to mix. Dark grey, and I'm going to go back into his eye now. That's a little bit dry. So that's an indigo, or what I think is an indigo, because they're in Chinese, I can't read them. And add the dark of the pupil. I'm going to have to mix that a bit darker. So I'm going to go here on my palette. Actually, that's a beautiful blue. That is gorgeous. Might actually even be a phthalo. I've got to Google what the colours are in English. It's going to go around the outside there like that. Just blob in his little pupil. And I can do it on that eye as well. And the background's dry enough now, like that. I'm going to go around the outer edge of his eye as well with this blue. He does have little eyelashes there, so I'll leave a little gap. And then I'm going to come around this side Same, leave a little gap. All right, that's okay. That looks all right. So, clean my brush again. Have a look at his little nose. Now he's got a blue-grey nose. So I'm going to make up a blue-grey. So I'm going to use that blue. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to clean that off. Clean my palette just there a little bit. And I'm going to grab a bit of burnt umber, or what I think is burnt umber. Like that. And I'm going to add a bit of cobalt, like that, to make my grey, a browny grey. And I'm going to go onto his nose now and just add his little muzzle. His chin's white. His little mouth, nose goes like that. The grey comes around the side here. There'll be a few layers. I'm just putting the first one on at the moment. That grey goes down under his chin a little bit, like that. All right, clean my brush. I'm going to go a bit of a stronger dark. Just around the inside of his little nostril, just here. Actually, that's flowing out. I'm going to take that around the rest of his nose as well. Just let it flow back into that. And I can see one thing I've done that I've got to fix is I've got to take the highlight off the tip of his nose. Or I can put it back with, this is very staining paint. I'm going to have to put that back with a bit of white paint. I can lift it off a little bit. I'll just keep cleaning my brush and just brush over that little bit there, because that's a highlight just there. So try and pick up the highlight. Try. Is that background? It's almost dry. It's still a tiny little bit damp. Still a teeny tiny bit damp. Just picking up that highlight. Okay. Yeah, that's okay. That's almost, I don't think my paint's going to flow into that now. And this is going to be the base colour of this gorgeous little deer. It's going to get a ton of water in the palette. So I want enough to pretty much go around in. And I'm going to start by just blobbing in this beautiful golden colour. There'll be a few layers. It's beautiful and glowy. This is gorgeous, vibrant paint, I have to say. I'm rather impressed with it. Gorgeous golden colour. Okay. All right, leave the white around the edge of the ear. Come down onto his little chin. Just got to stay away from that grey for a second. What I should have done is wet the deer, but I don't want to wet him too much. Okay. Come down around the bottom of his chin. Like that. I will go around and soften up these edges after. I've just got to wait for that background to dry a little bit more. I can come right into his nose. Now I think that's dry enough, his grey. There we go. All right. Get a bit more of that yellow ochre. These are gorgeous colours. Absolutely loving them. All right. Come come around the edge of his body, touching up to the green because I can now. I will soften these edges. It's going to come right up to his chin, going around the dots because I want the white of the paper, I need that to be a little bit more diluted. The white of the paper is my white, except where I've lost it on his ears. But that's okay, you live and learn. Okay, keep on coming. I'll have to let my dog out in a second, but I've got to keep this going because my dog's sooking. Hang on, Bear. I'll let you out in a second. Okay, continue on and around. So these are a very affordable paint, incredibly affordable. Like a whole palette included, of 40, 12, 24, 48 paints was $100 Australian, which is like 50 US. So huge value, amazing value. So I thought I'll give them a go, and I've heard great things about them. Super affordable, and now they're really nice. I think this is the nicest. I've got some very expensive brands, and I think I'm liking these. But that's good because they're affordable. I can get more of them if I want to. Don't need to, but if I want to. Okay, I'm just going to come up and around. Got to get his little body done as fast as I can. Now he does have white underneath his little legs, so I'll go around the edge of his tail. His little butt goes around here like that. Around the edge of his tail. Now then his legs are just this tan colour, like that. Okay. Get a bit more water on my brush, on my palette. So if this is the first layer, and I've got to leave a little bit of white on the back of his front leg. Alright. Then come down his leg. And I can go over that green. Like that. There we go. A bit of green went onto the bottom of his leg, but that's okay. And I'm going to go in with a slightly darker colour now. See, on his head was a bit damp still. I'm going to go in with a more golden, or another layer of that same yellow ochre. I might add less water and see if we can tidy up what we've done up here. Coming down onto his little face. So that's less pigment, more water. Sorry, less water, more pigment, that's what I meant to say. And he's darker down the bottom part of his face. So this is exactly the same colour, just less water. Come up and around his little eye. Like that. Towards his ear. Like that. And he's darker down this side of his body. It's going to soften up around the edges as well. Got to keep the highlights where he's got highlights, because he's got light on his chest, on his shoulder. I'll keep that light around there. Then he's darker onto his body. So I can keep continuing onto his body. It's a bit darker under his chin. Then coming onto his back. Continuing around, trying to keep the highlights of the little white spots on him. So that's a lot less water, a lot more pigment. Continuing around. So it comes right down to his belly almost on this. I probably could do with a bigger brush. This is probably a little bit too small. I'm going to go the next size up. Because yeah, that brush is a little bit little. It's just not moving fast enough. That's better. I can use more at the tip of the brush for the fine stuff. But and I've got to come down the middle of his tail here. Get these fluffy bits like that. Alright, get a bit more water on my brush, a bit more paint on my palette, like that. Still a bit more water, even just a touch more. Help it flow a little bit more. Still, I want the strength of the pigment, but I need it to flow a fraction more than I've got it. At the very end, I can add the detail over the top with almost dry brush, tiniest amount of water. He's darker coming down onto his tummy here. Cutting around. Then his leg gets lighter. So I can drag that down. I'm going to wet my brush, clean it off a fraction, and just drag that paint just to smooth those edges. Don't want hard lines, so smooth those edges. Just keep them soft. So this is interesting because I haven't done this with this paint, so I don't know how it's going to react. Come down onto his I could call it his drumstick. His butt comes around here and reclaims some of this greeny bit that I've messed up. Like that. It's not opaque, it's lovely and sheer, but yeah, having said that, it's not going over where I've got the green. I should have, because I never use that masking fluid. I should, but you know what, that's watercolour, eh? Sometimes it just does its own thing. And that's fine. It can be a little bit wild around the edges. That's what watercolour does. It's predictably unpredictable. You have some control, but never all. That lets you think you've got control, watercolour. Oh, I can come around his butt now, actually. It's a bit darker around here. I'm going to add a bit of red to this, I think, as well. Come down the front of his leg. I've got to darken up under this leg. Then I've got to take that colour around the front. I've got to find like an Indian red. I want like an Indian red. Oops, I've got to get a bit more of that gold. Come right down the front of that leg. Blend it out a fraction. There we go. All right, now let's have a look. I reckon that's a nice sort of reddy brown. I'm going to add that in. Yeah, that's a nice reddy brown. I'm going to add that in. And now I'm going to wet my brush a bit, get a bit more moisture on the paint on my brush. going to take that beautiful reddy brown around the outer edge. And anywhere I can see it's a little bit darker, like that. Come around this outer edge of his ear, like that. And on the top edge of that ear as well, like that. That reclaims that back. So he's already starting to look a little bit better. Starting to look a little bit better. He's darker coming down the back of his neck here. Like that. And I'm just going to clean my brush, take the excess moisture off, and soften that all the way down, like that. And I'm going to add this beautiful golden reddy brown, gorgeous golden reddy brown, onto his back. Because he is darker. Where I've just done that one layer, I'm going to do another layer. And take that right round. I do love watercolours so much. I love all mediums. My favourite's ink and drawing, but for colour, watercolour. So good. Continue on. Alright, so I'm going to take it down. I'll add fur texture at the end. Come down his butt there. That let me reclaim that bit back, which is good. Just wet my brush and just take that down. I've got to get a bit more on my palette. And I haven't really mixed any colours yet. I've only mixed the grey, and the rest of it's pre-mixed. It's a big palette with lots of colours. So it's pretty much got all of them. So I'm not having to mix. And also they're nice quality colours. They've got, lots of them have one pigment, and they're light fast. They've got good light fastness. 99% of them are light fast. There's only, I think there's 2 or 3 fugitives amongst them, and fugitive just means that it won't, you know, like the pinks and stuff, they don't last in the sunlight. But if you're going to hang them on the wall, you hang them in a shaded area. You don't have them in bright light ever. You just, any watercolour, you hang it. But nowadays you can get, I get mine, when I get mine professionally framed, I get UV protected glass so that it stops, even if they are in a bright room, it won't affect, won't damage the paint. If I do a portrait for someone or pet portrait, you can do that. Okay, I'm just going to soften these edges because deer don't have hard edges, they have soft fluffy edges. And now I'm going to go back in to these darker areas with this reddy brown. Get a bit more paint, a little bit less water. It's a beautiful colour. I've really got to Google what these colours are. I've got to look up the pigment numbers, because I've got all the pigment numbers. That should tell me what the colours are. Just got to blend that down and around. The paper's warped a fraction, just a little. That's okay, doesn't matter. It's under shadow under there. Come down here. Just got to blend that up a little bit. I'm going to wet my brush. Just take that up a little bit. Got to add the shadows on his chest as well. Okay, and I've got to add this shadow down his leg. leg here, a shadow. Under his leg up here is a blue-grey. But anywhere he's got his dark fur, it's this lovely golden colour, golden brown, reddy golden brown. It's almost like, what gold would I call that? What gold would I call that? It's almost like quinacridone gold, almost. All right. I might even try a bit more of a golden brown. 2, 4, 6, 7, 2, 4, 6. So the next one along is a quite, looks strong red on the palette. Oh, that's beautiful too. I'm going to use a bit of that as well onto his top of his butt, because this all is nice and it all works together. So put that in there. I'm going to add that in anywhere that I've just put the darker tones. Take this onto his butt, down and around a little bit. Let it flow. Like that. And I'm going to come up to his shoulder, add a bit on here as well. And I've got to add it down here because he's in shadow down here. Being careful to leave the white of the paper. Still leaving the white of the paper. Like that. Coming down the front of the leg. Front of that leg. Alright, having a quick look. He's looking alright. Okay. Now, I've got to clean my brush, and I'm going to go back onto his nose with a blue, a deep dark blue, my darkest blue that I've got, my strongest. Oh God, that's beautiful colour. It's a beautiful blue. I'm going to use blue on his nose. I'm not using black, I'm going to use blue. Create the dark of his nose. Like that. Try and leave a little highlight. Like that. Come around his little nostrils. Like that. Alright, that's looking cute. Looking cute. Around the back of his nose and his little mouth and onto his chin. Just around here. Like that. Okay, that's looking cute. I'm going to leave that, not touching it. I can work on the greys on his body now. It's sort of like a blue grey. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to dilute this blue, super duper duper dilute that down. No, it's a greeny grey. I don't want to do that. I need to get a more of a. I'm going to try this blue, and I'm going to use that as my shadow. I don't know what colour blue it is, it's just the pigment number. And I'm just going to carefully, I'm going to wet the paper. Got a little bit of the blue on my brush, but that's fine. I'm going to wet my paper and take it round anywhere that's shadowed, and just let that be the shadow. That little pigment, that little blue pigment. Oops, today's got to be a bit careful. Like that. That just it runs really well. Take this blue onto his thigh on the other leg. Got to be a bit careful, lift that off. This watercolour flows incredibly well. Amazing. Amazing. Like, for a cheap watercolour, my mind is blown how good this is. Like, this is ridiculously good. ridiculously good. This might be my new favourite. I've just got to get to know the different colours on the palette. It's darker underneath, like that. And this darker shadow under here. Just there. Come around the edge of the green. Got to be a bit careful here. And just want to take it around the edge of this tummy. The darkest, the strongest. Where it's in shadow, using the tip of my brush. And that will flow back up into the other colour. Come down the back of that front leg. Drag that up a fraction, like that. There we go. He's looking good, we're getting there. We're getting there, people. Now I've got to darken out under this leg, because that is all in shadow on the white there. Like that. Okay, so how am I going to fix this? I've got to get a little bit more of this green, carefully, and just touch around. I just want to touch around the ear a bit. I've just messed up the ear a little bit. Just want to soften that just a little. Hopefully, that won't be terribly noticeable. What green did I use? Shoot, I don't remember what green I used. I think I used the 75. I think, yep, that's what it was. Going to drop that in just quickly, or just around the ear. I just need to, whoops, tidy up that shape a little bit. Whoops, oh my god, I'm messing it up. Hang on. Oh, that's better. Got to let that dry a little bit. Hopefully it won't show up too much. This gorgeous red down under his chin and comes down onto his neck like that. And then I'll blend out the edge. I've got to soften this edge. Soften this edge. This paint is just gorgeous. Gorgeous, 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 gorgeous paint. Just saying. Okay, now onto his head. I've got to add, I'm going to use this same colour. I'm just going to add a little bit of fur texture. Oops, that one. Just come around into this little bit that I've just done. Add some little fur strokes. A little bit on there. A little bit around here. Around here. I've got to get my bigger brush, my slightly bigger brush. And take this down here. And just soften up. I've got to do this shadow around there. Okay, hang on. Leaving a highlight in the middle. It's got a highlight that sort of comes down the front. It's got to be a bit careful. You are unlimited on colours, but I mean, you don't need to mix them. I've only mixed my grey. I haven't had to mix. They've got all the colours I need. But if you want to mix your own, you can without any difficulty whatsoever, which is amazing. I'm going to come around this outside edge of his ear. Okay, having a quick look. That's looking better. I'm starting to get the shadows where I want them. I'm going to mix up some more of that grey now and go blue. And oh God, see, and this, you just touch it and you get so much pigment, like ridiculous amounts of pigment. It's mad. It's very, very water soluble, incredibly water soluble, like water, flowy. It's very flowy. Yes, very good for this kind of animal. Whoops. Just got to just add a bit of the shadow to the bottom there. Bit of shadow down the inside of that back leg. Bit of shadow down the front of this leg. Darker shadow in here. And it's a blue grey that I've made. I like to make my own greys. Shadow down in there. Coming up under that armpit. Shadow comes down there. Like that. Wet my brush and soften it. Just want to soften this a little bit because it's a shadow. Shadows aren't hard, not unless it's a summer shadow, but this is definitely not a summery shadow. Summer shadows are hard lined. These shadows are soft. Get a shadow under his chin. Now carefully having a look. He's got more of a shadow coming down here. I can soften that right down to there. I need to be brave. I've got to be brave with my shadows, people. I'm going to come down over this, front of his leg, like that, and just make that more shaded, like that. Darken this shadow here. I'm a bit scared, but I've got to do it because I'm liking him, but I've got to be brave. I've got to be brave, people. I've got to come down over here. There's no undoing this. He's got a shadow that comes all the way down there. Oh my goodness, I'm scared, but I've got to do it because shadow, you've got to, the dark, when you think you've gone dark, you've got to go darker. And that's all in shadow. Except for the very top little bit. Okay. We survived. Come down here. This shadow. Okay. That didn't do what I wanted to do here. It's gone. I've got to let that dry, I think. Let that dry a little bit. I can use this grey though onto his nose. Got a bit of grey coming up here. He does have a bit of grey coming up off his muzzle, off his nose. Like that. I'm just going to dab that a little bit, just so it's not quite so hard looking. Like that. And blot that a little bit. Okay, now I've got to let that dry because I've just messed that up a little bit. I'm going to go back into my reddy brown, my strong reddy brown. I'm just going to drop that in back on top there. Quite thick. I don't want it to be thinner than the water on the paper because otherwise it'll honeycomb and bloom everywhere, and I don't want it to. So to stop blooming, you've got to have whatever you put on the paper has got to be thicker than what's already there. All right, that's better. That's all right. I can live with that. Bring it down here. That didn't work, but that's all right because we managed to save it. Can add a little bit of that down here. Let that's going to bloom back up in. But that's okay, I don't mind that. That actually looks quite pretty. Let that darker brown go back in. I'm not going to put it everywhere, just in a couple of spots. Going to get a bit more on my brush. Let that flow back up in there. Quite like that actually. And I've got to soften, clean my brush, take all the excess moisture off it. And I'm just going to soften this edge here. Like that. Just stop that from looking hard. I don't want hard edges. So just literally just damp my brush, take the excess moisture off. And just pat around the edges just to soften it a little. This paint lifts beautifully. Okay. Now to add, I've got to go back into his eyes. I'm going to get my smaller brush. Go into his pupil. And just really darken up his pupil so that I've tried to keep the white of the paper for his highlights. I've just got to fix it in a couple of spots. So he's got beautiful eyelashes too. I'm going to have to draw the eyelashes on, but I can actually do that. I'm going to darken up the tip of his muzzle with a super dark blue. Top of his nostrils. Alright. This is like an indigo, I think. Okay, that's looking alright. Having a quick look. I might even use this, get a bit more on my brush, and go right into the darkest part of his inner ear. Create a bit of fur texture into the shadowiest part of his ear. Not so much on this side, but a little bit down the bottom there. Having a quick look. It's looking alright. Alright. Don't want to overdo it. Okay. Having a look. I've got to do the grass. I've got to do the grass around his feet. So, I'm going to go in with a few of the greens pre-mixed and just see how we go. I'm literally just going to flip them around, just doing loose brush marks. Loose brush marks. Keep it loose, long and loose. And do a mixture. Whoops, I don't want to use that one, that's me blue. Don't want the blue, I want the green. Well, I'm in love with these paints, guys. No looking back now. I think this is my new favourite palette. I'm not going to worry so much about the rest of the background. I'll add some lighter greens in, because why not? Some different greens, not lighter necessarily, but different. Ooh, where did that, which one was that? Was that one? Darker in the bottom. And I don't mind if it's a bit dry brushy. Just to add a little bit of the differences. Because grass is not universally one colour, there's browns and greys and all kinds of fun stuff in amongst it. Like that. Let's have a look. What other? There's some very fake looking greens. I won't use those. That's a nice dark rich green. I'll have that towards the bottom more. Have the lighter stuff on the top. Like that. I'm not going to do a whole lot more, I don't reckon. He's pretty cute. He's come up pretty cute. I've just got her. I just want to try and soften this little bit of his tail. So I'm going to wet my brush. I'm going to wet my brush. And I'm just going to go back and try. See if I can soften. So when you got I'm using really good watercolor paper. It's my Arches paper. So it's quite forgiving. When you want to go back onto wet paper, it doesn't scuff the paper. It just lifts the paint. So I recommend if you're doing watercolors, if you can afford good paper, get your good paper. It really does make a difference. So I've just softened that edge. Now I was gonna grab a little bit of white to highlight, to add some highlights back, but I don't think I need to. I think he's actually pretty good. I think he's actually pretty good. I've got to tidy up this leg a little bit. So I've got to go back into my reddy brown, my beautiful reddy brown. I need to find the colour names. And I'm going to just add this in here. I need to darken that back up because it sort of faded out when I did the grey over the top. So that's strengthened that. Same down here. I'm just going to add a little bit more back in here. It's pure pigment, like literally pure pigment. Whoops. Just to richen up that bit again. Come right down his neck there. I can run a little bit of fur texture, sort of, kinda. Like that. Take that down the inside of that thigh. Have a little bit everywhere. Keep it universal. Keep it sort of, what's the word? So it all blends, it all melds and looks good together. I'm going to add a little bit of this. I'm going to go back into my gold yellow ochre colour. And I'm going to add a little bit of fur texture now. I reckon that's the yellow ochre. Oops. I'm going to add a little bit of fur texture. Just little brush strokes. Not a lot, just a little. Just to create a little bit of fur using the very tip of my brush. The very tip. Oh yeah, I might add a little highlight. I might add a little bit of a white onto his nose. I do want that to pop a little bit. Alright, come down. Add a bit of fur texture coming down here. Remembering to go the direction of the fur. Like on the legs, it goes a little bit back. Towards the back of the leg, a little bit. I'm not going to do a terrible lot. Just a little. Just enough to suggest the fur. And that's it. I'm quite happy with that. He looks quite cute. He looks quite cute. I might go a little bit stronger pink in his ears. So I'm going to go, and to make skin tone, it is red. And actually I'll go like that red, P125. I'll go bright red and green makes a skin tone. So a bit of red, bit of green. Makes a lovely skin tone. Bit more red. Keep it on the pinky side. Chase that on me. Oh no, that's not it. Hang on. Clean that bit off. A bit more red. Bit of red. Actually, I might even. Bit of red and a teeny bit of green. Teeny bit of green. There we go. That's a better skin tone. A bit more water. So I just want to darken up the skin tone in that part of the ear and in this part like that. Having a quick look, looking good. around here. All right. I'm going to get a little bit of white. Just going to wet that. This has been, I've got to clean this palette up. This gouache palette has been years. There we go, that's good. I'm going to add a little bit of white back with my gouache, carefully. I need to grab the little brush, tiny brush, get all the paint off it. I'm going to sit that palette on top of that palette just for a second, just while I add the highlights back in. I'm going to soften up around his little eyes a little bit. Just a little. Pick a little bit back there. A little bit of a highlight on the tip. Oh, need a bit more pigment. A little bit more gouache. Get the tip of that ear back, like that. The tip of that ear back. Get the highlight on the nose, like that. Give me a quick look. Just anywhere that I've lost the light a little bit, I can brighten it up just a fraction. Eyelashes. So I've got to get the finest brush I have, which is this teeny tiny, itty bitty little doodah, and I'm going to grab a bit of the dark and really hope. I'm a bit scared. I'm going to have a practice on my. I'm going to clean that off. Got to get just the finest little piece of black on my, or dark blue on my brush. Just to do, oh, nope, just want to do it. I might have to wait. Hang on. Pick a bit more up off my palette. I just need to suggest it really. They don't need to be. All right, maybe that'll do. I'll put a bit more of that blue into the deepest, darkest shadowy bit. Into there, into the very darkest bit. And that's just like an indigo blue. Because you want your darkest darks against your lightest lights. And we're going to put some little dots, because they've got little pores on their skin, on their noses. So put little dots on there. And I'm going to sign that. I reckon I'm going to call him done. I reckon. I'm going to sign him, because if I keep fiddling, I'm going to wreck him. I'm going to call that done. So I'm going to sign it down the bottom here. Get a bit more paint on my brush. And call that done. Now we've got to take the edges off like this. Carefully to show the finished edges. And he's going to hang on my wall, because that's what I did him for. I want to hang him on my wall. He worked out pretty good. Very good. Woohoo! So I am going to call him done. I'm going to say thank you so much to everyone for hanging out. There we go. There he is. Oops. See him there? Oops. Oh, he doesn't want to stay. I'll stick that little bit, tiny bit of tape on the corner. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I absolutely love these paints. They're my new favourite. So yeah, thanks for watching. Have a great day, and I shall see you all for the next video. Okie doke, bye.